With AI tools, the biggest concern has always been the same: unpredictable results, lack of control. And yet, as AI keeps evolving, one expectation keeps growing with it: speed. Recently, Chaos introduced new advanced controls designed specifically for large surfaces. Today, we're putting them to the test. It's still in beta, but we can already see where it is going. Their main focus? Exterior scenes, increasing precision in materials like pavement, asphalt, brick, and dirt. So let's run an experiment. I'm taking one of the images from our visualization training, the night city render, and starting with the pavement material. Right away, you'll notice something new: the enhanced material options. We're not just controlling how much creativity the AI uses, we're guiding the direction it takes. For this first test, I'm leaving everything at the default. From my experience so far, low creativity gives the most reliable results, especially when you don't want the AI to completely reinvent your material. So, here is the original pavement, and here, enhanced by AI. Look closely. The enhanced version feels more realistic, especially in the areas where displacement is doing the heavy lifting. Notice the subtle imperfections. These small holes, tiny irregularities, they add something important: believability. And what matters the most, the AI respects the original material. The tile divisions are still intact, which means we're getting enhancement without losing control. Next, let's test dirt. It definitely adds more imperfections, no question about that. But look closer. I wouldn't trust it in the foreground. Not yet. It still lacks precision. Instead of subtle surface wear, what we're getting feels heavier, rougher, almost like paint peeling off the side of an abandoned building. But here's the thing: it's still beta. Let's see what age reveals. Interesting. I actually like this effect more than the previous one. The surface tells a clearer story now. The holes are more pronounced, subtle signals of time doing its work. But here's what matters: it doesn't cross the line into something completely worn down or destroyed. And honestly, I'm quite happy with this outcome. At the end, let's test damage. Alright, it feels similar to age, but pushed further, more pronounced, which makes sense. Look right here. I like how it introduced this crack. And here, the same story. There's a clear sense of time passing, of use, of wear. But again, it doesn't go too far. Let me show you what happens when we give the AI more creativity. Watch closely. You can see the effect becomes stronger, bolder, less restrained. And that's exactly why, in marketing archives, where every detail matters, I prefer to keep creativity low, controlled, intentional. I like that it automatically selects the same material, but it doesn't always work. Not yet. For example, here, I wanted asphalt, but it only picked up one lane. And in another test, in the house scene, it didn't detect the asphalt at all. So let's see how it handles asphalt this time. In this case, I tested dirt with low creativity, subtle changes. It added a few imperfections, nothing aggressive. And look here, I like this. It actually kept the original crack in roughly the same place. We didn't get something completely different. In the background, you can spot a few extra patches. Honestly, the difference here is minimal. But remember, this material is already quite complex in 3D, and the whole idea of using AI is to avoid spending hours on building materials from scratch. So for testing, I switched to a simple asphalt. The first test, dirt, was completely unsuccessful. It looks like it scattered a few stones, maybe some leaves, but the result doesn't feel believable. Now age, that works better. We're starting to see imperfections, small cracks. I still wouldn't call this final, not yet, but it's a solid starting point, and the change is actually more visible than with the original material. And here is the damage version. It did something, but something about it still feels off. I tested the AI enhancer on bricks as well. Here are a few examples. First, the default settings. It preserved the brick size, which is good. And overall, it introduced more variation. It also added a few cracks. Nice for imperfections. But probably not what you want when you're trying to sell a brand new house. Then I pushed further. I tested dirt with medium creativity. I wanted to see if this could work for an old city building. And it actually works quite well. You can clearly see the bricks aging. More character, more history. Not something I'd use for a fresh development, but for an old city model, this could absolutely work. I also tested the bricks in a scene with fog. And here, the system struggles. It doesn't read the material correctly, so in situations like this, I would stay away. Going back to the house scene, I tried enhancing the metal. And honestly, I like where this landed. It introduced just a touch of imperfections, a bit of roughness, enough to break that perfect, sterile look and make the metal feel more believable, subtle, controlled. And on the roof, it actually looks pretty cool. For the pavement, this worked perfectly. It introduced subtle imperfections, just enough to break the uniformity. The surface feels more grounded now, more real. From everything I've tested so far, pavements seem to respond the best. With glass, on the other hand, I didn't see such a difference. I tested all the options, but the effect was minimal. I know these effects are meant mainly for exteriors, but I wanted to see what happens inside, so I pushed it into interiors. My goal was simple: introduce a bit more age to the walls. And overall, it worked well. There were a few mistakes. For example, it slightly lost the edge between the wall and the ceiling. Not perfect, but it's moving in the right direction. Now fabrics. That's another story. At least for now, it doesn't handle them well. But I'm hopeful this will improve in the next update, because having precise control over subtle imperfections in interior materials, that would be huge. What's clear already, the new AI enhancer can absolutely push images towards more realism, toward that slightly lived-in feeling, and considering this is still in beta, I'm quite happy with the results. So don't wait, test it for yourself, link below the video, and let me know in the comments how it worked on your side. Bye bye!